seed becomes a tree, sheltering us. With time, a skill becomes a talent, empowering us. With time, a technology becomes a tool, enhancing us. By nature, time gives value to almost everything, yet the very thing our society gives value to, our money, loses value over time. This paradox warps our reality by defying the laws of nature, and it stems from the belief that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. Meaning money must always lose value. We built our reality off of this model. Time value of money, we call it, but in reality, this is just dogma. Since we can keep making more of it, we end up destroying our own purchasing power. So we put it in stocks, put it in bonds, put it in land, put it in funds, put it in crypto, put it in gold. But we are not oracles, so what do we know? We know that it's hard to get by. We know some people may never retire. Is time value of money a lie since it discounts the monetary value of our time? If time is money, how are they moving in different directions? We're working longer for less, we end up just giving away our freedom. Give up liberty for policies, give up our agency to the authorities. Because when our foundation is built on complexity, we simplify humans by giving up our humanity. Reality check, we've strayed too far from the truth. The world economy's a wreck when 1 + 1 no longer equals to 2. And if life's created from the truth, along the way something got screwed, and we let our own dogma subjectify value. We divorce action from consequence. We defy the law of physics when we make scarcity infinite. We disregard the language of mathematics. So our systems are built in a fallacy. Our society's based in a fantasy. In the absence of truth, we're living in the shadows of our own reality. And that's the root problem. Man-made rules can be broken. As our trust crumbles, so does the progress of our civilization. But one thing remains constant: no one can cheat nature. So why not use it to architect a stronger base layer? The most beautiful buildings engineered based on these consequences. Natural law drives rigor needed to build something enduring, uncompromising on principles that accounts for the flaws. Because when our lives are at stake, the gravity of truth cannot be ignored. So if our monetary systems were designed like structures, it would embody energy and matter, so the money itself matters. An unbreakable limit enforced by costliness of creation ensures the structure holds value for many generations. A rule-based system, governed by maths, builds a transparent ecosystem that can self-error correct. With no one in charge, no words are taken as fact. Only work from computation can actualize truth of timestamps, and like water flowing off a cliff down the path of gravity, computational energy makes time flow one way only. It is this irreversibility which gives value to our money by upholding consensus and scarcity to create one shared reality. Now the map is the territory. Now we're working with high fidelity. Now money is truthfully time and energy bound by finality. Now we have the ability to manifest each of our dreams and build a world that is much more reflective of all of our needs. And that's the purpose of money, merely a tool to shape our reality, merely a function to harness and express individuality, but just a way to live freely, just a means for possibility. Because when we build on integrity, we enhance the beauty of humanity. The most beautiful societies are built from diversity of our thoughts that come to life when we're empowered individually. Because when our money tomorrow is worth more than today, we shift from predicting to creating the future ourselves. And when our money grows in value, we grow thoughtful in how we use it. Natural law drives rigor needed to fund something enduring, something truly worth it, something that pushes the sky's limit, something only possible when our real value and consequence exist in boundless virtual dimensions. Imagine potential creations, fueled by monetary life force, lasting for many generations. We will venture into new territories and unleash these possibilities once we learn to embrace the truth of our reality.
All right, guys, we're going to end right there and get started. Today's a crazy day. So just looking at some of the policies that Kamala is trying to push out, I think anybody with half a brain, and I'm sorry if you don't have one, understands how detrimental these are to capitalism, meritocracy, our country. And if you don't understand that, you really need to fucking get your homework going, man, because you don't know what you're talking about. And it's going to be crucial towards your investments in the future and towards this country. And we'll cover that in a bit. Lots of good news on that front, though, that I'm very excited about. Before we get there, I ended up about up 25,000. So pretty much what you see is what you get today. If you look, you can see how PayPal, something that has been a large pain in my side for a long time, is now finally down less than 30%. I fucked this one up for a year and a half, and I've only lost a third of my value. Actually, a little less than that. It's probably less than 30% now because I have another account that's done really well that I didn't buy in as early. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that 30% loss with PayPal, including all my 2025s and 2026s, is just a gorgeous thing. You can tell that people are dialing into these because the 2025s were getting you 10x the underlying return of the 3.54% return that we got from PayPal today. And then, so you're getting 10x there, but then you're getting more like 7x, 6.5x with the 2026s, which is also a crazy number. But this stuff is expected. We've done our homework, right? We know what's happening. And it's great to be up by $25,000 on a day where, ArcG is down and Cipher is down and CleanSpark is down almost 3% and DLO is flat and Hood is down over 2% and Flex is down 2% and MicroStrategy is down 1.2% and SoFi is down 1.21%. It's really great to be up and making money on a day like today. So just super stoked about it. We got a lot to cover today, guys. In case you missed it, I made 2 other videos today. One about why bears are completely wrong about the latest economic data in regard to unemployment levels, in regard to credit expansion, in regard to net assets versus debt levels, in regard to just a ton of different metrics, some stuff that Rex Finance was talking about, and then just me adding my icing on the cake. He does beautiful work. Follow him if you haven't already. So I talked about that, and then in another video I talked about Jack Mallers. It actually let him talk for an hour, and then I interjected into that too with my crazy thoughts about Bitcoin and why it's going to be the best investment that you can be in the next decade outside of Tesla, which I think will eventually take over in about 3 or 4 years and start to outperform. Just really some of my best work today, taking up about 2.5 hours of your time. If you guys get time, I would definitely look at those. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a video about Lynn Alden and a conversation she had just in the last 24 to 36 hours. And then also we'll be going over that Vivek Balaji deregulation video that I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to try and crank out an extra 2 videos a day on top of the market recap. I'm going to try and make these high value ads. So it should be a great time for everybody. And I'm also going to see if we can start getting it to where I put in chapters here soon. I'm going to see if I can get help from my wife, or at the very least, I'll do it myself until I can hire somebody. And then also I'm going to try and make shorts that are more topic driven so that you guys can get a lot of information in really clear, concise packages that are geared towards what you want to know more about. So instead of having these big, long diatribes like the market recap, I think that one's going to be long no matter what. But I am going to, in the months and next couple of years, I'm going to try and really refine my process and get rid of a lot of automation and get somebody to edit and just do all the things that can really button up the channel and save you guys a bunch of time. So that's the goal. Real quickly here, before we get deep into the macro and the economic data and all these other things, I wanted to talk about PayPal because it's the MVP today, right? I was getting 6 to 10x. The underlying on this one when it was up 3.5% on the day. So one thing I wanted to point out, we just had our 3rd higher high on this downward trend. This is a push higher. And what I like, we closed the day at 3.89%. We're actually sitting really strong. We could sit here for a little bit and grind, but I do expect a breakout pushing at least towards this first level in the 80s. I will probably be in profit on this investment when we get to the $83 range, and a lot of pain from being down at one time $400,000 will be gone completely and utterly, and I'll start taking more profits. I'm going to wait until that level. Fastlane, we had some information on that today in a partnership with Adyen. We're going to talk about that right now. And again, just what Palantir Hotline had near, just showing retail selling strong into institutional demand. So again, it's one of those things where It's what happens, sadly. Let me see, though. I know I had this bookmarked, but I'm not seeing it in here. This is just the way the bookmarks work sometimes. So I'm going to go here and see if I can real quickly find this PayPal Adyen note. Here we go. Alex Chris. And Crossroads went in bigger to this. I'll probably share that out real quick. I just want to bookmark this. But this partnership is huge. I won't go into all the details of it. Look at this post that I'm getting ready to throw out here from Crossroads, our boy Roy, and dig into the details here. Oh, and it is bookmark. What the heck? Anyway, I'll just give you the highlight. He says, he goes, this is big. PayPal and Adyen are competition, and Adyen is an incredible company. They're partnered in several areas already, and here's another one. As they're partnering and offering Fastlane for guest checkout, this implies how exciting the Fastlane product really is, that Adyen is really going to take this on, and I agree with that 100%. And let me just read the little blurb here. The expanded partnership with the PayPal further strengthens Adyen's ability to provide global enterprises with seamless payment flows and top quality guest shopping experiences, said Peter Van Der Does. Nice name. Co-founder and co-CEO of Adyen. He said PayPal is a payment brand name that shoppers trust, and we're excited to take our collaboration another step further in the United States, utilizing our combined expertise to raise the bar for our customers. Adyen and PayPal have partnered for a number of years to allow Adyen's customers to offer PayPal's best-in-class payment marks globally, including PayPal, Venmo, and PayPal's Buy Now, Pay Later solutions. In addition to increasing Fastlane by PayPal's reach, Adyen and PayPal will continue to explore solutions that enhance consumers' journey and drive value for enterprise businesses. And again, Fastlane is just really about making the customer experience a lot quicker for being able to purchase things. And again, you got the advertising business in there. You got the PayPal USD stablecoin that I think we're gonna see some exciting news probably over the next year, especially as the crypto markets go higher. PayPal is just set up really good right now, and I'm very happy. I hope some of you guys are making money on it already, and I'm just excited that for anybody who's still around, I'm excited for the opportunity ahead, and that how you're going to be able to benefit from that. And I hope the people that have been loyal and that have stuck around are greatly rewarded for what's coming next. So I love you guys, and again, I'll just be happy to have this celebration with you. All right. Real quickly, there's a bunch of stuff. So we're going to go into economic data. I want to cover a lot of things here. We'll get back, as usual, into a little bit of everything. We'll cover Bitcoin. We'll cover Tesla. We'll cover anything else that's really important and happening today after we get past, all the other indicators like the dollar and oil and all this stuff. But here, I wanted to talk about this real quick. Breaking: Fed to revise jobs down by up to 1 million in what may be the largest downward revision in 15 years. Fake jobs, fake inflation, fake GDP. All right. So yes, that's happening. You need to watch my video, though, from earlier where I talk about unemployment data and how it kind of differs from what expectations are. I think it's a really good video. Things aren't as gloomy as people are making them out to be. This is a horrible revision, but it's not the end of the world at all. And so I would highly encourage you guys to take a look at that. The great Matsby said, raise taxes, print more money, increase government spending. Sounds like a perfect recipe for an economic failure and civil unrest. I agree. Before we get too deep in here, though, I do want to point out other things. So let's look at the stock heat map. So today, when we're dialing in here, we see a lot more red. And again, I made money. And if you had PayPal, you made money too. So this isn't a bad day at all. This is perfectly normal after what we just saw. You got to remember, I don't know, is the week even positive? Yeah, the week is super positive. Look at the weekly time frame here, guys. We're not doing bad to have a little bit of time where we retrace. And let's see, how did the last hour of the day go? Pretty flat to up. Yeah, pretty flat to up. And actually the last 4 hours, we kind of bounced a little bit if you look at Amazon, AVGO, and just a bunch of others. So we did see a little bit of bounce. But I am not dismayed by this at all. This is all a part of the process. This is really great. We should be happy with where we are. Now, the crypto heat map, we see a little bit of upside for Bitcoin today on the daily. Ethereum down 1%. The rest, BNB's up 2.5, but everything else, a little flat, a little bit of speculation in some mid caps, large to mid caps with Dogecoin and Tron and Cardano and just other trash. We'll probably see more of that over time too, but I'm not too focused on the shitcoin market right now. The S&P, I'll get through this stuff, guys, and then I'll look at your questions. So the S&P, again, we saw some upside today. We ended up closing down 0.2%. So the week we're actually still up, but I do expect us actually to test higher by the end of this week, especially if we get good stuff from Jackson Hole with Jay Powell, and I think we'll see at least a 25 bip. I think then we stand a really good chance of getting up in the 5650 range, right around there, and start to test that .618, which is going to be stupid bullish. So today down 0.2%, but not a big deal at all, and I'm really excited about where we're headed. The Nasdaq down 0.24% on the day, so a little bit worse. Again, same kind of MO. I love the peak volumes over here. I love the fact that we're sitting a little bit above it. I think that's positive. The Russell today down 1.17, so it took the bulk of the heat for the day. So this is kind of normal. S&P did the best. NASDAQ did the second best. Russell did, the third. But when we look at how much this thing has went up in a short period of time from where it bounced here on August 5th, that's a shit ton. From 2000 to 2173 is not a bad number at all. So none of this is out of the ordinary. I think it's great. I think we're still headed higher. I think it's just a back test. It's literally all we're looking at. Now, the dollar continues to weaken. We talked about this in that Jack Mahler's conversation. He speaks a lot to dollar strengthening and dollar weakness, and how that plays out across the world and in what markets. And so it's a really good video to listen to. But a weakening, I think, is fine. And I think this, again, we're kind of, if I move this trend line just a little bit down, which I probably should do because of all these touch points, like look right about here. And then I'd have to look at the daily over here, but I'm probably just going to, for now, just going to do one of these jobs. This is a more accurate representation of previous resistance and then newfound support levels. And we're getting right near that support level. I don't think this is crazy. Maybe we even go to the 50 on the monthly time frame and find some bounce down here because you can see again where this is kind of a resistance area. So it might be a support area again. But I do think, like Jack Mullers is talking about, the Fed and the Treasury want to keep the dollar right in this range. They want to keep it right through here and through here. And so I think they're going to be successful at accomplishing that goal in the days and months and quarters ahead. All right, gold. Gold, 25.15. Is that a new daily high? I want to say it is. So gold right now, let's see where we're at. We're at about 31% in gains over the last 13 years. Still a shitty metric, but if you're only looking at the last three, you would come to the conclusion ignorantly that gold is a better performer than stocks or than Bitcoin. But that would be a stupid understanding. Oil, again, we're getting a little bit of a bounce. We haven't gotten into the 60s yet. I still think we're probably going to do that. We'll see what happens with it. But we do have a divergence down here. If you look at the daily time frame, you can see where we're starting to diverge and trying to go higher. But I still think we're dropping down to the upper 60s, and then we'll go up from there. Barring any major geopolitical concerns, which I don't think there are any right now. The MOVE index, the volatility index for bonds, is flat on the day. And then if we look, let's just check out what the VIX is doing too. The stock volatility index. And if we look at the stock volatility index, again, we see a little bit of an uptick, 8.46%. But on the monthly time frame, this thing is still down 76% from its peak, roughly. Yeah, about 76% from its peak. The strongest VIX crush in history. So I would still, we could bounce a little bit. I think we'll probably stay around this range though. Maybe get up into the 17s, but we'll be at such a low level that it will still be the strongest VIX crush in the shortest amount of time in history, which says a lot. It says that peak fear is gone. And we can see some of that, I think, if we go to the put call ratio, we still see puts falling through the floor. Nobody is trying to hedge right now, and I think that's very indicative of what's in front of us. If we look at the 2-year bond, we can see it starting to roll over again. Nothing crazy here. That's what I've been telling you it's going to do. Kind of boring. Inversion, the 10-year inversion. It started to tick up a little bit right now, but again, that's just going to kind of, as long as we keep the dollar stable, this should remain stable too, and we shouldn't uninvert anytime soon. So it's still game on. If we look at the yen, the U.S. dollar strength to the yen has weakened. This is good. This means the yen isn't breaking down. It means the carry trade isn't going to unwind. And it means the Fed is probably doing the right thing with the swap line. The Chinese yuan Chinese yuan, again, didn't break down by as much. And that's kind of the thing I've been saying, right? The Chinese yuan, if we look here, I should say the dollar gaining strength against the yuan. If you look here, the US dollar versus the Japanese yen, the US dollar weakened by 0.83%. That's a pretty big drop when compared to the Chinese yuan, which only weakened by 0.1. So I've been saying for a while that I think the dollar is going to be stronger against the yuan than it is against the yen, and that's by design. We're trying to crush China, so that's a good thing for us, not so good for them. All right, let me see. I'm going to get caught up with some of the recent comments, and then I'll go back. Albert, hey, Jesse, what's up, dude? SK, hey, Jesse, what's your thought on the target price for CleanSpark this cycle? I kind of talk about that. I talked yesterday about how I think I'll probably mostly be out by 70 unless there's something else that happens, but I do think that there's the possibility of getting in the 100s. And maybe I'm not fully out at 70. Maybe I'm like 60% out at 70, and then I let some more ride. We'll see. I'll let you guys know as I go. Ab. Could you look at PAGs? Yep, I'll do that. M and Hodl, PayPal. Dude, PayPal. Diamond hands for show. L. Consiglio. Congrats on your nephew's son. Buy him a Tesla baby grow. Dude, he's so cute. He's got little swollen feet, and he's still in the NICU because he was a week early. But he's a heavy, big baby. He's like 9 pounds something. But yeah, he's a cutie. It's just wild seeing another baby. It's been a while. Paul Hoger, hey man, thoughts on some cruisy lines, Carnival Corp, Norwegian Cruise Line. I don't know, I'll have to think about that. C-list, racial inequality increases if Kamala Harris wins. Complaining about it won't be permitted anymore. Yeah, that's probably, I mean, that's the same kind of thing with the UK, right? And that's the path that they went down. I think that's pretty legit. This is going to be one of the most impactful elections in modern history, I think, and people are underrating that, and they don't realize how detrimental it might be if we go down that path. Of electing her as the president of the United States. It would destroy our economy, and I'll talk about that more in a second. Walter Bryan, PayPal price target and end of the year. I don't know, 90s? 90s? End of the year? Would you guys be okay with that if we got to 97 by the end of the year? Would you guys be okay with that? I'll make probably over $1 million if we do that. So I'll be okay with it, but I don't know if you guys will be okay with it. All right. Alex Garcia, I'd honestly take $40 CleanSpark, right? And you will soon enough. Trust me, it's coming. Dougal Butt. All right, I love the name. What's going on with TerraWolf? Up 30% in the last 3 days. I think TerraWolf is just really doing well off the AI play. There might be some other stuff that people can add. We can look it up too and see what the news events are. I don't think there's much more outside of that. I do believe there's another one that was doing good today. Was it Bit Digital? They had a contract too. I think they're doing a little bit of the AI play or something like it, processing outside of Bitcoin, and that's a popular narrative right now. So I think those bounce quicker. Chill Medic just broke 100% on my PayPal calls. You the man. Kick ass, dude. Hey, if you guys could ring the bell and hit the like button, it's greatly appreciated for the couple hundred people that are here. I'm sure we'll have more in later, but again, all your support is greatly appreciated. All right. So we got through chat. We got through the bulk of these things. I want to jump real quickly into Bitcoin, and then we'll go from there. Again, just a great day today, guys. PayPal up in after hours too. Loving it. Actually, before we get into all that, let me backtrack. We do want to just look over here. So Redbook year over year, we did get some data today. That number actually came in at 4.9%, previously 4.7. So retail sales for the top retailers in the nation of a sampling looks good. It looks like it's improving, and we like that because again, it's an upward trend showing that retail isn't that weak. I don't even know how much we got from the Treasury stuff. You can't really see it here, so I'll have to take a look later. That's it, though, for today. So tomorrow, again, the beginning of the Jackson Hole Symposium. I don't know if we'll get anything major out of that. I think usually it's going to come on a Friday. Maybe we get some hints at what we're doing. We do have the FOMC minutes around the same time that the symposium is kicking off. So tomorrow could be kind of interesting. Plus, we have more mortgage data. I would expect that mortgage applications pick up, mortgage rate maybe drops, and then refinances and the mortgage index as a whole start to look a little bit better along with the purchase index. That's kind of my expectation. There could be some seasonality in there too, but I think we're starting at such a low base that I expect that to actually outperform, so I'm excited for it. Real quickly, the Fear and Greed Index across the stock market today. We are seeing a 45, so we are technically falling into a neutral territory today, which is quite the shift from where we were. It does say previous close fear 41, so yeah, we're at the low end of neutral right now as the market digests what's going on. With the crypto index, though, even though we haven't really went anywhere, we're still in the fear area, but we're out of extreme fear. But again, these are some of the lowest metrics we've seen in a very long time. If we scroll down here, oh, let me see if I can do that. I wish my mouse was better. All right, so let's see. The 1 year, again, you can see that we're at some of the lowest levels we've been at in the last year. I mean, comparatively, outside of recently here in July, we are at the lowest levels we've seen going back to before August of 2023. Let's go to the max here. So we're about here. So we're really at levels we haven't seen since January of 2023, December of 2022. So this is really low levels. This is the time where you should be getting excited about crypto. This is probably the time that no one will be, which is funny. The CME Fed Watch tool. So we're looking here and we're seeing that right now we got a 69.5%. So the chance of 1 bips has actually dropped, but that's because, 25 bips or 1 rate cut has dropped, but that's because 2 has increased slightly. I actually think we're only going to get 1. People are saying we're prepping for more than that. We'll see how it plays out. Let's look at the layoff tracker real quick and see how we're doing. These numbers have actually started to really stabilize in 2024. I like what we're seeing, but I just want to jump into here too and just kind of take a look. So in the last several days, we said the last big one was Cisco on 8-9. Really in 11 days, we haven't seen anything major. There's Grail, Sonos, Intuitive has like 16, retention.com is 15. We just don't have any big numbers that are really meaningful. And the rate of layoffs is dropping, not going up. This is probably a big deal. I am going to check just real quickly without getting too political. Right now we're seeing a 1.5 lead for Harris in the polls for a general on the aggregate. But you have to remember that Clinton was up by 5.7 in 2016 and Biden was up by 7.4. So Biden right there alone was up by 6-ish points almost versus what Kamala Harris is right now. And again, this is an aggregate of the data. It's not a really good representation of the data. And if we look at races where we have I'm just going to look at this real quick because this is impactful. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up, guys. If we look at, let's go Trump, Harris here, and then I think I can get the broader poll that has all of them. I'm going to see if I can refresh. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can only do state by state. I'll have to just save that next time. But if you look and you divvy it up not by Trump, by Harris, but you also look at everybody, you look at everybody that's involved in it, like with these Rasmussen reports, they're showing right now just between Trump and Harris, they're showing a 4-point lead for Trump. Now, this is important because they actually give a point to the Democratic Party in order to try and balance out the survey results and get as accurate as they can. And in previous elections, they've done a really great job. So if they have a 4-point lead for Trump out of likely voters, not RV, but likely voters, LV, and they're the most accurate poller out of these major pollers that we have. And we say that they're weighting it 1 point heavy on the Democratic side, then potentially we have a 5-point lead from Trump on the general election. And then when you throw in that Robert F. Kennedy is getting an extra 4, anywhere from 3 to 5 points, an average probably of 4 points himself. And you look at what's happened recently here in the data, and we'll just go over that right now. That's kind of my segue in here to some of the next parts I wanted to talk about U.S. economic data. I'm going to skip some of this because I want to talk about this first. Now, this says Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s running mate, Nicole Shanahan, says they're considering dropping out and joining forces with Donald Trump.
So, there's 2 options that we're looking at, and one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Waltz presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump and
that's what's going to happen. I told you already, guys. I'm a little bit prophetic because I work hard to understand the world around me, and this is what's going to happen. And I hope you guys can realize that soon.
We walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision. Not easy.
Clearly.
Yeah, not an easy decision.
Now, are you saying
You could see that, right? She's emotional about it. This woman wants to have this ticket. They want to proceed ahead, but they also don't want the destruction of the United States of America, and so they're going to step away from it. And you could see some of this in latest comments from Robert F. Kennedy. Let's just read this here. This is from 11:57 a.m. He says, "As always, I am willing to talk with leaders of any political party to further the goals I have served for 40 years of my career and in this campaign. These are reversing the chronic disease epidemic, ending the war machine, cleaning corporate influence out of government and toxic pollution out of the environment, protecting freedom of speech, and ending politicization of enforcement and of agencies." And if you look under here, it's drop out, support Trump, drop out, support Trump, drop out, support Trump, drop out, support Trump, drop out, support Trump. Every comment in here is support Donald Trump. And that is the path they're leaning down. It is what's going to happen in the future. And it is important to know this because this election is profound. It's profound. You have a Democratic candidate who wants to tax unrealized gains. For people like Elon Musk, they will have to sell large swaths of their company every year and push it into the market, driving down the price while diluting their control over the company and reducing the incentive for them to even want to try. And this is going to be done across every company and wealthy person that's worth over $100 million in this country. And you will devastate the market. If that was the only thing alone, if they didn't include price controls, if they didn't change the corporate tax from 21 to 28%, this alone would destroy our economy, given enough time. I would say 1 year, probably, with the indebtedness levels that we are and the contraction that we would see across employment. All the problems that I say aren't a big deal right now would absolutely fuck us. Fuck us. I don't know how strongly I have to cuss and how loud the volume of my voice needs to be for people to understand what this will do to this country. You even have people like Tom Lee saying this is insane and unsustainable. Again, you have people like David Friedberg that want to vote for Kamala Harris, and they're not going to. Every intelligent person I know says that this is a formula for destruction of this country and everything that it represents. I talked earlier about how the 3 million in housing that she wants to build, she also wants to make it to where the federal government has control over zoning in local jurisdictions. What the fuck is that? There are so many reasons why you should not be for this. And if you're too stupid to realize that, don't fucking follow me. Leave. I don't want you here. All right, on a lighter note. Again, my other videos talk a lot about this stuff and other things. You should take the time to listen to them. Otherwise, be ignorant. I don't give a shit. Just don't fucking vote if you're going to be ignorant. All right. Anyway, let's jump to Tesla and lighten the mood. All right, the Tesla Cybervan. This is the stupidest fucking look of a Cybervan I've ever seen in my life. It looks retarded as fuck. And there's no reason to have 12-foot ceilings in it. Here's the version of the Cybervan that I like. Let me see if I can actually find it. I think I brought it up here somewhere. Let me just take a look. Right here. So this is the version of the Cybervan that I like. This is what I think could come. And maybe we'll see something like this. And I won't lie. I will buy this fucking thing right away. I will, because I like it even better than my Cybertruck in appearance. And I just think the utility behind it would be sick for road trips. So I'd use the truck for like when I got to do truck related stuff. And my road trip vehicle would be this thing. It is a beast looking vehicle. This is just a mock-up. This is not an official release of any kind. But it shows you just how gorgeous a Cybervan could be. And again, then you could take this retarded concept right here and make it into something real. Where the inside is a little bit lower. And you could have seating for, 11 people in this thing. It could just get really, really crazy for what you could support inside of the Cybervan. So then it would be less retarded looking than this, whatever the fuck this is. So F for design, whoever made that, but A for effort. All right. Tesla Megafactory in China is 45% complete, says Grace Tao. This is amazing. Again, Chinese people work really hard, man. and for very little. And what they're doing for Tesla is amazing. And this mega factory is going to be crazy. It's going to be producing so much for energy. It's gonna be huge for the world, and that we'll see energy margins increasing exponentially here soon. This says, I swear many fools told me that Tesla was a car company, and yet it's showing the automation process of creating their 4680 cells. Again, this company is not just a car company. If you don't know that, you should spend some time and understand it. Tesla Energy, congrats to the Tesla Nevada team for hitting a new record of more than 500 Powerwalls in a single shift. That's awesome. Again, this is just going to be this. We're just going to keep seeing records all the time, guys. This one from Jeff Lutz. He got this video. I'm not even sure who this is. It says EV registrations outpaced the total U.S. auto industry in June. EVs increased. ICE and hybrids were negative year over year. So this is the narrative recently, which I said was stupid, was that everybody was going to switch to hybrids, right? And yet ICE and hybrid vehicles had negative growth year over year. And EVs are up 3.03% year over year in June by 108,000 units. This talks too about how some of the shittier companies, like anybody who's not Tesla, is basically doing huge discounts. We'll listen to this real quick in order to be able to get rid of inventory. We'll just listen real fast.
EV registrations in the U.S. outpaced the overall market in June. According to S&P Global Mobility, more than 108,000 EVs were registered in June, up 3.3% compared to a year ago, while overall registrations hit 1.2 million vehicles, a 9% decrease.
Ouch, did you hear that? A 9% decrease and people registering vehicles. That is a huge decrease. And you're seeing growth in electric, which means all these companies that have been stepping away from electric are just getting crushed on all levels. Used auto inventory is through the roof, and they're having to discount the shit out of their EVs, and everything's a fucking mess in the auto sector outside of Tesla.
Translates to an EV market share of nearly 9%, up from about 8% the previous June. Tesla led the way with roughly 61,000 registrations, which is a 2.4% drop. Ford was the second best brand with about 6,300 registrations. Kia was third with about 5,200, and Rivian and Hyundai were just behind in fourth and fifth. But some automakers relied heavily on incentives to boost EV sales.
Yep.
According to Motor Intelligence, the average incentive for the Kia EV9 was more than $18,000.
That's insane. And Kia makes some pretty good EVs, guys. I can't say they're bad at all. And they're probably one of the better ones. And they're having to discount by 18 grand. That's incredibly painful.
Incentives for the Nissan Ariya were about $14,800 on average, and the Toyota BZ4X had incentives of $11,700 on average. In the first half of the year, about
Toyota's such a fucking disaster. Anyway, we'll let him finish.
580,000 EVs were registered in the U.S., up 7% from a year ago.
7% from a year ago for EV registrations. That's not a bad deal at all, guys. Also, again, not to get political, but I will when people are fucking lying. And in this case, it's whatever Adderall they got Biden on last night at fucking midnight, so that nobody would remember what he said. And Joe Biden was bragging about building 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. What the actual fuck? They built 7.
Including the IBW installing 500,000 charging stations all across America. Including
Bunch of fucking lemmings. The fact that he could say that and just have it be true blows my mind. Again, my buddy Wick, Zero Hedge, not to be mistaken for the other guy, he just shows his chart here and about how Tesla is getting ready to break out, and it's so close, guys. It makes sense that we hit resistance here, and that we're just treading until we go higher. And I do actually think the 260s is probably coming fairly quickly, as represented in here by this resistance zone that he has. And that I do believe that our current zone around a little bit under 220 is our support level. And once we break out here, it'll be violent. And when we get to this 260s, it's such a great indication that we're turning around and going to the upside. And rates lowering is only going to help that. Again, this is just saying that this is just showing, this is another way to show that energy is doing well and that they're working on their mega factory. All right, so I did want to say this. So Shooter McDadden, He said, I sure hope some of them are folding laundry and doing dishes. This alone would send Tesla to $10,000. I don't know about that, but I like the thought process behind it. Tesla is currently hiring data collection operators for up to $48 an hour to train its humanoid robots. The role involves wearing motion capture suits and VR headsets to perform tasks for data collection. It says experts say Tesla aims to gather vast amounts of data to train the robot for generalized tasks. So yes, it will be able to fold laundry. It will be able to pick stuff up. Maybe it can mow the lawn with your lawnmower. It'll be able to perform. It can cook food for you. There'll be so many things that this thing will be able to do. But initially, again, it will work in the factories. It will probably work in a lot of factories. Other companies will get access to it to try and automate and remove humanoids from it in order to be able to save money. But like Elon said, 2026, they're going to have this thing for sale. I sure as fuck will have like at least 5 of these things reserved. I don't even care what they cost. If it's $5,000 down, I'm getting 5 of these things reserved right away to replace human labor for everything I do and all of the people I love. And if nothing else, to be able to rent one out to somebody else. So I will gladly do all of that. Here's a rendering of what the Megapack factory in China will look like when it's done. And here is just something I had to post. It has Elon Musk. So the Doge guy said, hey, wait, Elon, if you're going to say yes to this, it needs to be called the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge. And as Elon likes to say, you know, the funniest outcome is possibly the one that we'll see, the most humorous. And I think that's going to happen. Look, he said, I'm willing to serve. And he'll let them name it, and I think that's great. On other things, in regard to X, it was great. So we had the Prime Minister of Italy, Meloni. She loves Elon Musk and thinks he's great. She loves capitalism. She's a good person. This is another fracturing within the EU. She says that there is an irresponsible desire for censorship in this battered contemporary left, post-communist or liberal. It no longer makes any difference. They're terrified of the freedom of expression, allergic to opinions they're not aligned with, that are mainstream, and inquisitors of anyone who does not submit to their suffocating cloak of conformism. Their false do-goodism now struggles to hide their true nature. So she is not very positive about some of the censorship discussions that have happened with the EU and what's been happening in the UK. And these people are not alone. Sweden is actually going anti-immigration. There's a lot of things that are changing and dynamics that are going to be impactful for Elon and X and the world. And I think it's important that you guys understand those. And so the Tesla part of this conversation is just getting broader and broader and broader. I didn't talk so much about this last time, I don't think, but I wanted to talk about the fact that EV Circles reviewed a BYD Seal Premium, and he said he can't recommend the car. I wanted to like it. It has lots of showroom appeal and looks good on paper. It's a great car. After driving it, it's a 5 out of 10 car. So this is a main competitor against like the Model 3 performance vehicle, or maybe even a Model Y loosely. And it's a 5 out of 10 vehicle. So this is, I mean, read it if you want to understand that better. But I think it's important for you to know that even BYD, probably one of the #1 competitors in the EV space against Tesla, is not Tesla. And I've been saying that for a long time, and you should understand that. I think that's it for the Tesla corner. Let's jump down real quickly. We'll go to Bitcoin, and I'll look at what some of you guys have to say. Let me go up a little bit. All right, you guys have been talky. I need to get caught up here. All right, I'll go to Sally Bang. Hey, Jesse, could you take a look at Google? Thank you. I will do that. Shill Medic, I would call that more of a cyber wagon. Sure, I don't give a fuck what we call it, Shill. I just love it, and I want it. Walter Bryan, at what price are you looking to buy Palantir? It's less about the price for Palantir, and it's more about the timing of my other investments. When I make a lot off of PayPal, when I make a lot off of ArcG, when I make a lot off my hood calls, when I make a lot off all my miners and Bitcoin related investments and Tesla, it's a bunch of different things. And so as I start to make a bunch off of that, I'll start to dial into a few hedges, into a little bit of cash, and I'll start to look for opportunities to buy Palantir. And I'll probably just start to do a little bit of DCA into it as well and just stack. And then if we have any moments where we see a big drop in it, and let me just pull it up real quick. If we see, because as I've been saying for a while, and I've been wrong and right. So I said 32 is really a level where we could see a strong retrace between like here at the 30 level in the 32, 33 range. I mean, God, we could go to 44, 45, but that is only like 40% up from where we're at. It's not a big number, but we've had going all the way back to June of last year. So about 14, 15 months, we've been going up, even though the divergence in the RSI is down and the MACD looks similar. I've got to remember to add that back in here. So my argument is that there's no rush to get into Palantir right now, but I will start to dollar cost average into it. And I do think that we'll have a breakdown moment where at the very least we test like the upper 27s over here to back test what was previous resistance before potentially making a measured move into the 100s. And this isn't something that I say lightly. I think that this could happen, over a period of 2 years, maybe, especially if we end up going into war with China, or if we don't and we're just really building up military capacity to try and avoid going to war with them, and not just us, but parts of Europe and other parts where we're giving technology like Palantir to people. So I do like Palantir. I think it's a great option, and I think it'll be do well in the future, and that's kind of my plan for getting into it. C-list. People who don't bother to understand Tesla as the premier AI company with FSD deserve to underperform in their investments. I agree. Albert, do you think Optimus might also be Elon's way of combating population decline? Yes, it's 100% that. Elon, I said this earlier, Elon has a mission. His mission several years from now will be really focused on Mars and trying to figure out how to increase transport of Starship at rapid paces as much as they can. And then the cargo within it will matter because he'll be trying to figure out how to build out the colony, how to make it sustainable, how to make it to where it's resilient, and do all of these things. But what he wanted to do first was make sure that the Earth can't destroy itself. So he wanted to make sure that we had boring technology. You want to make sure that we had EVs that were replacing and battery systems that were replacing conventional technology to make it to where global warming doesn't increase. If you believe in that, I personally do. I just don't think it's disastrous. I take Elon's approach to it because I think he's brilliant. I think he's right, and I've heard other people speak to it too. So I think he's trying to save Earth first, and the best way to save it is to ensure that we have X, so we have freedom of speech and no authoritarian government. It's to make sure that we have all these rocket systems and things in place to be able to make it to where the world has internet in order to be smarter and be able more prosperous, because we know that knowledge is power, and he wants more energy for us so that we can keep growing, and he wants to replace human labor so that we don't have to worry about population decline destroying the world. He cares about everything that goes on, but he wanted to fix the Earth first to make it to where we can survive long enough to become multiplanetary, and I think that's his driving force. So yes, I think it's exactly that. I think he's trying to fix all kinds of issues. C-list, pretty please let MicroStrategy surge before Tesla so I can harvest. I hope that timing works out for you, man. It's always hard. That's why I've got a little bit in everything, I do have more Bitcoin than Tesla right now, though. Pete, send the funding to Elon. Let him build the damn charging network. Why haven't we done that? Why do we have 7 charging stations built when we've got tens of dollars dedicated towards it, and we're having to lie about 500,000 charging stations being built by the President of the United States? It's fucking insane. Who still won't recognize Tesla? Is he just adding up Tesla's numbers? Is that what we do now? We don't recognize them, but we take credit for their work. That sounds like big government, doesn't it? Albert, the fun fact that there are only 61,000 charging stations. Yeah, I know, right? I know. It's like when he said, when he was talking about all the trillionaires in the United States. It's just fucking insanity. It's so stupid, right? It's so stupid. Even if you take the world numbers, the number doesn't make any sense. So it's just okay because he's an old senile man, so we can just put whatever number we want in front of him and he'll read it off. And people are too fucking stupid to actually care what the number is. I know some very smart people who do not give a fuck what the liberals say. They're like, oh, it's great. Perfect. Oh, it's a lie? Whatever. Facts don't matter. Reality doesn't matter. To be clear, I'm somebody who, if I put up something that ends up being factually inaccurate, I post about it later on. Or if I find out about it really quickly, I take it down so the messaging doesn't spread. But that's just me. I guess a lot of people don't care about that. They don't care about authenticity. They don't care about truth. They just want their fucking candidate to win, even if they lie to them about everything. Anyway, it's a good thing I'm not being political anymore. All right, Albert, the fun fact, there are only, we read that. Only 61,000 charging stations in the U.S. as a total of February 2024. Took me 5 seconds to Google it. I wonder why Democratic voters wouldn't do the same. Because they don't want the truth. They don't care. Just like they don't care. Last night, they played a video about Donald Trump. I'm going to make you motherfuckers watch this real quick here. Give me 1 second. They played a video about Donald Trump where Biden was railing against the fact that Donald Trump, let me see if it's in here or if it's in another one, that Donald Trump had talked about the great people, the KKK members from before. If you listen to the video, if you spend 15 fucking seconds trying to figure out the truth of it, you can get the answer, right? You can get the answer to it. But we don't give a shit about that. We don't give a fuck about the truth. We want to lie so that we can get votes. Because if we tell you what you want to fucking hear and you're a goddamn sheep, you'll fucking take it. Sorry. Sorry.
The president was asked what he thought had happened. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides. My God." That's what he said.
All right, let's pause. Let's listen to what he actually said.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than...
He just condemned the far left and right. He just condemned it. Does reality fucking matter? Does it fucking matter to you? If you're a liberal, do you actually care what the truth is? Or do you just want to hate this man listening to clips that are taken out of context? Because I take that shit down. But do you actually care? Please tell me. I'd love to know. Sorry, I'm just in a mood. Just thinking about the destruction of America and how quickly we're heading towards it because people are blissfully fucking ignorant bothers me. Kamala and I are committed to strengthening illegal... Here's a nice little word slip from President Biden. I think it's probably the truth getting out. What do you think? Let's just listen real quick here.
Kamala and I are committed to strengthening legal immigration.
They want to strengthen illegal immigration. Go to bed. All right. Sorry. I know I'm being intense today, guys. I don't want to be, okay? I don't want to be, all right? I want to be happy about the future of this country. That's what I want to be. So if you guys can help figure that shit out, that would be wonderful. Let's see, 250 euros or something. I'm just going to heart that. Thank you so much. Do you use margin debt to buy shares? No, man, I would never do that. I would really just never recommend that to anybody. There are three ways to go broke, courtesy of Warren Buffett, and one of them is margin debt, and that's just the stance I'm going to hold. I would never use margin. Options have their time and place too. Make sure that if you're using options, you watch my Option 101 video because you should know how dangerous they are while knowing how powerful they are too as a hedge instrument and also for a way to make money. In regard to Balaji, this is Brian Armstrong from Coinbase talking about Balaji, who I believe is a brilliant mad genius. I've only started to find out about him over the last year, and it's blown my mind. I want you guys to hear this real quick.
I don't know, where do we start? He's truly a genius. He's probably top 3 smartest people I've ever met in the whole world.
Top 3 smartest people he's ever met in the whole world. Tomorrow, I'll be doing that Balaji Vivek video. You have to see it.
IQ-wise, I think he's just off the charts, and he's spotting trends in the world. Now, at those levels of IQ, things get quirky, right? So you gotta take the good with the bad, and like occasionally he'll call me and tell me something, and I'm like, dude, you're completely nuts. Like, what the hell are you talking about, right? I mean, actually, a lot of the time that happens, and then I'd say a good percent of the time he turns out to be right, like whether it's a year or 5 years later. So I don't know.
Totally reminds me of Elon Musk. I don't know how many times I've been like, what are you doing, Elon? You're so stupid. Why is this happening? Like with COVID and his take on it and what my take was, because I was a liberal who voted for Biden. And he was right. He was right about all of it again.
My one-liner on Balaji is I think he's a genius. I think he's usually early but right, and I'm so glad that we have him on Team Human, and I love him to death. So let's keep listening to his ideas, because I think that it's a good glimpse into the future.
I 100% agree, and I just wanted to throw that out because I'll be doing that video tomorrow, and I want you guys to partake in it. Jake Wojcicki, he said, MicroStrategy, I don't think I've ever seen an Alpha Trends anchored VWAP pinch this tight, coiling like a massive spring. I can tell you which way that's going to go. Neil Jacobs, Michael Saylor, fire. He says, when I'm gone, my stock and shares. So this is how far out that Michael Saylor is thinking about Bitcoin. Let's just listen.
I didn't answer your last question, which is, key man risk. What if I go away? And I thought about it, and and what I would just say is, first of all, I don't have any heirs but a nonprofit foundation, which will morph in being a public charity. So when I'm gone, my stock, my shares, my assets flow into a public charity whose mission is to support Bitcoin and the adoption of Bitcoin forever. And so
that's insane, guys. We already got Satoshi, or Hal Finney, and what he's done for Bitcoin, and how his death cemented it as the greatest store of value and currency potentially on Earth, most likely, most likely, 99.99% probability, in my opinion. And then you have somebody like Michael Saylor who's just going to piggyback off of that and ensure that it's here forever.
you don't have to worry about MicroStrategy changing direction. You don't have to worry about, the truth is, I'm probably better for Bitcoin gone than here.
That's just amazing.
Dead than alive. As long as if you're dead, you can't, you can't, what was the word? Murder? Was it slay your heroes? Slay your heroes.
Yep.
So, once I'm gone, I'm not going to be talking, so I can't give a bad tweet, I suppose. And MicroStrategy will just go on with the MicroStrategy. And the MicroStrategy is simple. It's raise capital from the institutions that have capital.
Buy
Bitcoin. Hold the Bitcoin forever. Don't lose the Bitcoin.
Raise more capital.
Don't sell the Bitcoin.
Yep. He's just fucking brilliant. And it's just great. It's so exciting. Bitcoin Magazine just in $108 billion VanEck. Matthew Sigel tells CNBC that all the Bitcoin selling is behind us. I want you to hear this. This is a big deal. You need to listen to this.
Cryptocurrency itself this year, as you can see. But a new report suggests these businesses could be in store for a huge boost thanks to, of all things, well, what else these days? Artificial intelligence. So here to explain is Matthew Sigel, VanEck's head of digital assets research. This is an interesting development here because usually we talk about underlyings and the miners and things and how these things are supposed to be more high beta, bigger returns. What gives between that relationship with Bitcoin, the underlying, versus the miners?
Yeah, there's been a huge divergence year to date. Bitcoin's now up, say, 35%. These Bitcoin miners are essentially flat. So typically they are the higher beta plays on Bitcoin. And in the latest downdraft, they sold off quite a bit. And we think the market's missing a pretty strong underlying fundamentals.
Why? Why have they been selling off?
Just lack of interest, high beta, the unwind of the carry trade, like nothing specific that has to do with the Bitcoin miners that we can see. And what we do see is that week after week, these companies keep announcing new deals with AI companies, hyperscalers. We've seen at least 4 Bitcoin miners announce close to $1 billion revenue deals to transfer their energy to power AI, right? So we know that GPUs
So again, a lot of the narrative right now is AI.
take about twice the power as CPUs, and we know that it takes about 4 years right now to connect to the grid in many locations. These miners have grid connections, and with a little bit of capex in some of these locations, they can repurpose these facilities in less than 1 year. The time value of that money, bringing that capacity on 3 years earlier, is huge. And these are typically companies with, I have to say it, bad balance sheets, either lots of debt and they all went bankrupt last cycle, or just continually issuing equity at the market. What these AI bids are doing is lowering the cost of capital and providing a more sustainable financing stream for these companies.
That is making a huge assumption that the financing stream is going to remain at the levels it is and or increase over time. I don't think this is the right thesis. I might be proven wrong. And again, I'm working on a Bitcoin video that's coming down the pipe too. But again, it's one of those things where he could be right either way. We're looking at the market going higher. And I want to hear, I think he talks about some of the things that are behind us here too. If nothing else, you know what, I'm going to skip it because it's 3 more minutes. So HODL 15 kind of covers it anyway. It says German government sold 50,000 seized Bitcoin. USA sold 10,000 seized Bitcoin. Mt. Gox distributed 95,000 Bitcoin. Celsius, Gemini, Earn, and Genesis Trading made distributions. The market absorbed it all, and we're still over $60,000. Anyone else got big chunks of Bitcoin to panic sell, or can we liquidate all the shorts now? I 100% agree with that. I think that is the path forward. And again, Donald Trump on day one will fire Gary Gensler. He will work to set up a crypto and Bitcoin council that will include people like Michael Saylor and people like Elon Musk for the energy or the efficiency group, but others within the Bitcoin and crypto space that are key people like Cynthia Loomis and others in order to be a part of this council. And they'll take what's already been confiscated and hold it in a reserve. This is a great start. I think Robert F. Kennedy's vision of this is better. I would love to see him on the Bitcoin Council too. Or you've got Kamala Harris saying, let's make Gary Gensler the Treasury Secretary, the guy that's fought this industry for so long. And then you got the Japanese Metaplanet company that's bought 500 million yen worth of Bitcoin again just yesterday. Again, it's just everything to me screams that we're doing really well right now and that we're going up in the future. And I would encourage you guys to be steadfast in your approach when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to Tesla, when it comes to PayPal, and these other things. You will benefit greatly from them if you're able to do so. If you are not, then you will miss out on an opportunity, and I will not feel sorry for you because I have done my part to try and let you know what that opportunity is, and it is your responsibility to understand what the fuck I am talking about. All right. Real quickly, before we get into that, I want to go into Bitcoin. I just want to show you something here. When I'm looking at the daily chart, you can see how we tried to break higher here. I expect that to continue. This is a descending, broadening wedge. It's a beautiful pattern. It is usually a continuation pattern the majority of the time. And I think that that's what we're going to see happen. I think we're going to continue to see ourselves going higher. And if we go down and test again towards 56 or some shit, I don't even fucking care. Hell, if we even go down to 51, 52, I would love to see that. Hell, I'd love to bring us all the way down to 48 with a wick. I want it to happen. I want my PayPal to keep going up, and I want to sell little nibbles off of that and maybe whatever else is flying like a kite so that I can buy more Bitcoin. You will not get an argument from me at all. I've got 315,000 still in profits on account, just in this one main account, probably about $360,000 at least in profit, maybe more, maybe closer to 400,000 between my two accounts. And then there's all the stuff I locked in, the 350,000 I locked in earlier already, just in Tesla. And then with PayPal getting ready to take off, I'm taking something that was a loss, a huge loss, and I've DCA'd into it, and now I'm like under 30% between both of my accounts and a loss on PayPal. As I rake in money from these purchases, including Hood, which I think is going to be going up. It's already up 20%. It's going to go up a lot here in the future too, and a lot of these others. I would love to see Bitcoin dropping so that I could take the opportunity to be able to buy some of that dip. So I hope it dips. That's where my bias is. My bias is I hope we drop, but I don't think we're going to. That's my reality. And again, this is just a perfect grind that we've had, for the last 6+ months for MicroStrategy. I think we're going higher. I would love to see us back test to 110. Don't hold your fucking breath. Mara. So again, we're seeing what I believe is strength here. I believe we're going to go higher. I'm actually going to switch to the weekly time frame. I'm going to kind of blow some stuff out here, and move some things around and make sure I save this so that it's better looking. I do think we have a strong bounce that we're seeing, and I'm actually just going to take it. So we're down about 50% right now from that previous level. I do think that we're getting ready to blow past the 50, test up to the 200 and maybe the 19 range, and grind up against that for a while until we break higher up here until the 24 range. And then it's just going to be violent, guys. I think we're going up 181% at least between now and the end of the year for Mara. That's my bet. What's yours? That's mine. 181% on Mara and a price of about $45. And I'm going to love it when it comes. I'll tell you that much. Let me look real quickly at CleanSpark before we pull up the actual chart. I do want to look at something real quick. I want to see how it has performed with the calls. Calls got majorly crushed today. I didn't even notice that. I'm excited about that. So tomorrow, if I continue to have anything outperform, like I don't want to cash out PayPal yet, but maybe a little outperformance in Tesla since I'm up so much, like well over $400,000 in profits on my Tesla calls. And I've done so well off of Tesla over the years. I'll probably maybe nibble a little bit on that, maybe a nibble on some of my CleanSpark stock that was only down 3% today. If we get this Bitcoin market going down, look at this. This thing was down more than 3x what the underlying asset was. I love this. I think these calls are cheap. I'm down 6% on them right now. I think that's badass. I will buy a shit ton more of that gladly. Bring it. I'm closer to 3 million now. Yeah, I do have Bitcoin, but we're not talking about that. It's 3 million for my investments. Yeah. So anyway, the .5 here, you can see again a similar concept with CleanSpark. I think we have a 182% increase in the price, and that we'll get to 33 probably by the end of the year. This is dependent upon Trump being the president, and I think that's what's going to happen. And I'm going to make a video tomorrow that's going to clarify why I believe that's going to happen. When we get to that level, that $33 level, people will have made 19x, almost 20x off of CleanSpark if they bought it at the lows when I bought it and bought options back in December of 2022. January 2023, around all these time frames when it was in the dollar range, right down here for a brief period, but in the low twos for longer. That was peak purchase time. That's when I bought options. I didn't buy them fucking up here. In fact, I told people all the way up in the 7s and 8s, I said I wouldn't buy options here, and I had sold out of all mine. So I'm not a risky person. It might seem that way. It might seem that I'm risky, but I'm not. But I fucking hope we drop under the 200 moving average. I would love to see this thing go down to $8 if we could get it there. I would buy the shit out of those July or whatever 2025 calls because I know we're going to go up like a rocket, or at least there's a high probability of a chance. Cipher today, only up 1%. It was actually doing a little bit better, but again, it's kind of grinded down. Another one I would like to see drop and add positioning to. It is capable over a very short period of time, I think, of blowing past what we've seen already and going up well over 100%, actually going past the .618. I think by the end of the year, this is going to sound crazy, but I think that something like Cipher, if the market really starts to take off and Bitcoin gets to 92K in short order, could go anywhere from 965 to 1217 between now and the end of the year, if not higher. I know that sounds like an absolutely absurd number, but I do think that can happen. So I think it will outperform CleanSpark and it will outperform Mara because it's such a small cap. It's only a $1.3 billion. So it could do a little bit better. And that's my take. And right now, I mean, this thing already, when it got to the peak, was up over 23x, which was a lot better than Bitcoin. So again, there's great opportunity here as well. I'm going to save this real quick, change this to green, save it again. All right, so that's it. That's the Bitcoin stuff. Let's go into Tesla real quick, just see how Tesla's doing. There is something I want to draw out here that I really haven't done. And I'm going to do kind of what Wick was talking about, and I showed you when I was walking through the stuff here. So again, massive gap still up above us in the daily time frame that goes all the way up to 245. That might be a good time. I don't know. Maybe I won't sell anything until at least 234 or 245 just to give this thing time to run. I would really like to be up at least $1 million plus by the time I start to nibble more on my Tesla calls. Because again, they've got 2 years almost right now. They've got about 22 months to play out to get to 330, and I think that's going to be such an easy thing for them to do. So I probably won't really try and sell anything until about 245, and ideally I don't sell anything until we start to go up 23% or more. But I want to zoom out here. I want to look at the big picture. So again, this is drawn differently on my friend Wix chart. I think this is the more accurate representation of what we want to see. If you look here, we got gaps going up to 292. I really do believe that the $300 range is going to be a fairly easy target, or I should at least say the 290 here in the next between now and the end of the year. If nothing else, I think even before 1010 we could hit this level. And if we go up 31% over that period of time, I should get a doubling of my money, which should give me about $1.3 million and total gains with Tesla. And I won't cry about that. It's not what it will be eventually, but it'll be a good start. And so I'll probably take a little bit off the table, especially if for some reason my other favorite things are really hurt. We're still 1,023 days from the all-time high on this thing. Actually, maybe a little less. Yeah, no, that's about right. 1,020, something like that. So it's sitting beautiful, guys. It's sitting beautiful, and we are going to go higher. And I think that's where you should have your money right now. Robinhood. Let's see how we're doing with Robinhood. We got neutered a little bit on the day. I think that, again, we've just seen a massive bounce from this thing from $14 all the way up to 20 roughly. It's not a bad return over a short period of time. And if we look here, let me just do this. I need to set up different, I need to set up some different percentages here. So from the recent highs, it's a 76% increase. We've already accomplished almost 40% of that, or over 40% if you go to where we recently peaked here. So in a period, 44 it says, in a period of 2 weeks, we have gained 44%. So if you're scared right now with Hood, I think you're just not paying attention, because that is a huge number for an increase for something that's been down and still hugely off its lows. If we jump up here, to previous all-time highs over 1,100 days ago, I think Hood is fully capable of reaching that in the next, anywhere from like, I would say 5-6 months to about 8 or 9 pretty easily. And if that's true, we have a 320% increase, and my options would be stupid. And again, those are about, have about 11 months to play out. And my target on those, what is it even? I don't remember. I think it's 35 or something. Let me see. Hood, 35 for January. And I guess these are only January 16th. So I have less time for this. Or no, I did that for, yeah. I gave myself more time on this. I forgot. I didn't give myself like 10 months or 11 months. I gave myself even more. So again, we got like 14, 15 months for this thing to play. I think that's beautiful. And I would expect to do really well again in less than a year, probably 8-9 months. So I don't hate Hood. I think Hood is in a great resting place. We've done really well on it. Let's be happy. SoFi. And then I'll get to your guys' stuff. And then you guys can ask additional questions too, but I'll start at the beginning like I normally do. If somebody's a paid member, especially if they pay a lot more, all you got to do is say, hey, like, I'm like a badass member, and I'll give you more stocks to look at. Now, we haven't broken out of SoFi yet, but man, if you look at this thing, it is a thing of beauty. You can see here, and I'll just go to the monthly time frame to make it a little bit cleaner maybe, just so you can see how badass this is. But if we close the month right here, look at this. Look at this. So we are, again, right near a breakout zone. If you were looking at the weekly or the daily levels and you added all that stuff up, we're right near a breakout zone. This thing has been off its all-time highs for 1,277 days, so 3 years worth of data here that we've been over 3 years worth of data where we've been off our all-time highs. We're in a lowering rate environment, and this is like the 69th largest bank in the United States, probably 68th here real quick. It's a beautiful setup. You're right above peak volumes here. When you look, you're right above peak volumes. I'm just going to update a couple of things and try and save them. I'm trying to get better at that as I talk. I'm trying to be able to, rub my head and belly at the same time and get some of this stuff updated because I'm just so short on time. But again, so I'm expecting over a short period of time, I'd say between now and the end of the year, I'm thinking we could see a 60% run in this stock. I do not have options for it. I don't have a lot of stock. But I do think this is going to happen, and I'm rooting for everybody. And if this, I think this is going to happen quick. So good luck, guys. Square. Square is retraced a little bit. It's retracing back to, is this the fib level or is this peak volume? So let me just go to the weekly on this so I can get a better view. So again, we're right at the .286 first fib level, and we've still got peak volumes underneath of us. We're also sitting near the $100 or 100 moving average on the weekly time frame, and the 50 is starting to curl up and push us higher. We barely jumped on this thing, and I expect it in short order to get a lot higher. So I could see this thing between now and the end of the year pretty easily making a run towards the $90 range, which we're at 65 right now. So, and this is not crazy because this is what we were at in March. I think it wouldn't be unheard of either for us to maybe get to 116 by the end of the year, which would be a huge increase. I don't own a lot of Square. But again, I just think highly of it. We already talked about Palantir. You're going to sip that. I'm going to go ahead and jump into ArcG here. I'm also going to turn on the air conditioning in my house because my house is getting a little warm, and I think oh, sorry, I got a baby video here. And my house is getting too warm, and my wife and kid are gone because my daughter is getting ready. She's doing orientation at a completely new school today. So just lots of stuff going on in my personal life. But anyway, I don't like being hot. So we're going to turn on the air conditioning, which we just did. And let's look at ArcG and talk about that. ArcG, again, this is a beautiful pattern. We're above peak volumes. We're still down 77% from where we were. This is one of the longest plays. 1,323 days ago. Again, well over 3 years, closer to 3.5 years from our all-time high. This thing is sitting underneath the 50 moving average. I think in short order, between now and the end of the year, I would be surprised if we haven't tested 35 on this thing, which is 40% roughly increase from where we're at, and with a 9 to 10x multiplier on the options. That is a big fucking number. So a 300 to 400% increase between now and the end of the year, I think, on my option play here, which would be a very nice play and get me close to $1 million worth of funds on Arcus Genomics with a 35% increase or 40% increase. It's pretty crazy to think of, but that's what we're setting up for, and I'm pretty excited about it. And if you guys aren't on board, I think you should be. All right, that's all my stuff, guys. We got through my stuff. Let's get to your stuff. Let's go back here, and I will start at the beginning, and we'll rock through it, and I'll try and look at your comments along the way, and you guys can talk to me. If there's any news events that I've missed that are really important, please say something about it. Kamawa H says, hey, Jesse, please look at CXDO. I don't think I've done that one before, so I will go ahead and make a copy and do CXDO. And we'll get that one added into my repertoire. Brian, thank you for joining. That is a long name. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you, sir. And I hope you get some benefit. Let me know if you have any questions at all that I can help answer for you. And again, we're going to try and get through a large list of these today, guys. We'll see what we can do. All right, so CXTO is Crexendo Inc. It is 139 million. It is not a big company. It's had a pretty good surge recently. We'll look at technicals here in a second, but really I want to understand financials on anything that I'm new to, because it just allows me to do a better job of evaluating it. I don't believe, I'm not one of these people who just believe that technicals are all you need to look at or just charts. I think that's fucking ignorant and stupid, and I don't like being ignorant and stupid. So I look at more. Revenue, looking good, 16% year over year. Not bad. Let's look at the yearly on this one. So we had a company that was strong in 2006, and then it just fell off the cliff. Yeah, I'll check Mobileye, Urcom. But then they fought their way back, and now they're starting to turn into a real company again. Their net income was not good in 2022. Let's see here. So we are seeing a little bit of positive net income now. We're seeing a forward PE of 22. It's not stupid high. I like this cash to debt situation here. Without going too deep into this, I mean, this is what you want, right? You want to see debt in decline. You want to see cash going up. Right now, sitting on about almost 14 million in cash. Not a ton of money, but this is such a small cap. We're still doing share dilution, though. Operating expenses seem like they're being managed pretty decently, and cash flows okay. This doesn't look bad at a glance. Let's look at activity on it. We can see institutional ownership growing. I don't hate that at all. Short interest is not looking bad. It was in decline. It just ticked up a little bit recently. We don't see a lot of selling. We saw selling by insiders in Q2 of 2021 and Q2 of 2020. And so this is probably when they sold because they did really good and the markets went up a lot. But then you can see buying later on, more buying than selling. So I think that's not a bad sign either. At least it's not showing that these people are trying to get the fuck out, right? Revenue estimates are continuing to go up. I don't hate that. No, not a lot with ratios. Let's look. Stock-based comp. How much is it? 5% of revenues. Not bad. I like seeing this. This isn't a bad-looking company without really knowing a lot of what they do. I like the fact that operating expenses aren't accelerating, even though revenue is. And I like that we're double-digit on revenue growth year over year. This doesn't seem like a bad company. It's telecommunications. It's in Tempe, Arizona. Let's read what we have here. It's a leading provider of cloud communications, including unified communications as a service, UCaaS, call center and collaboration services tailored for business of all sizes. They offer enterprise-class cloud solutions and affordable monthly pricing and ensure high-quality service for clients. My only worry is how are they doing on AI? They have 182 employees. This is not a big company. It's a small cap. Is AI going to destroy these guys, or are they a leader in it where they're going to be able to help facilitate call centers transition to chat GPT type devices that can answer all the questions, or at least 95% of questions where you have a much smaller call center? I would be worried about something like that. But just looking at this from a technical level, let me just pull it over here. We'll do our trend-based fib extension since I think we can draw one. We have March of 2020, I want to say over here. Nope, that's March 15th. Interesting. These guys didn't really have... That's weird. Okay. Where to draw? I don't want to go back to 2016. I am going to use my normal placeholder of March of 2020 because I think it's just a good major time frame to be able to draw a fib extension. So I think our natural move here for this one is to, if it can break it, it's underneath the 1 fib right now. It's finding resistance at this level. You can see peak volumes over here at the 540-54 range. We need to get above that. But if we can get above that, this could be a quick trip towards the 1250-13 range, just because of the technicals on it and then the fib-based trend extension. Let me look and see if there's anything else for moving averages. No, man. I mean, this is not an expensive stock if the setup is right. If they're going to get destroyed by AI and that narrative's going to shift for them sometime soon, I wouldn't want to own it. But again, this is where you got to understand the fundamentals. Jesse, would you consider ArcG shares as well as calls to increase exposure without necessarily increasing risk? Or would you not do because of the expense ratio? I don't care about the expense ratio at all. I don't care about the expense ratio. I care about people being risk on and risk off, and I care about global liquidity. And I think the options contracts still look really beautiful. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that if there's enough interest. But I still see 9, 10x multiples versus the underlying, at the very least a 7x multiple versus the underlying. So the risk to reward on this one, if you're using a small percentage of your portfolio, I think is really good if you understand the investment and you understand that global liquidity is going to drive it higher. And people are going to be more risk on in the future as global liquidity drives things higher, then I think you could do really well. Also, I know you aren't a financial advisor. No, I'm a high school dropout. Yesterday, you talked about managing debt. If you needed a new vehicle, would you buy it outright or invest money? I would do a monthly payment, especially if you can get interest rates that are at low percentages, like some of the Tesla Model Y. I think they were offering, I don't know if it's 0%, but like very low percent APRs. I would get a loan. I wouldn't buy it outright. Use that money to invest. This is the greatest investing opportunity of a lifetime, says non-financial advisor, that can give you an asymmetric return because the money printer having to go burr. So I would be investing. I would be borrowing cheap debt. I would not be paying for a car outright. I think that would be a really horrible decision. Justin also said, since you could get more of a return on investments than the 5 to 6%, again, if you get an APR that's 3% and you've got a lower cost of energy because the electricity costs where I live at least are a third of what you would pay for gas, on top of no maintenance and warranty that lasts 8 years for the powertrain and 5 years just for general shit. and then you could get that at like a 2 or a 3% interest rate, maybe lower in the near future, I would definitely do that. The best thing is no new car at all, but if you need one, get 6, 7 year, 8, get the longest fucking loan you can get at the lowest interest rate you can get. That way your payments are as low as you can possibly get them, and I would invest that money instead. That's my 2 cents, bro. I like the way you're thinking. Figure out how to manage debt. The less you can pay right now at the lowest interest rate possible allows you to be able to generate more wealth over time. Be smart. C-list. MTCH, please, Match Group. Let's take a look at Match Group and see what they are. I'm actually going to pull up the financial side first. I don't know the fundamentals for it. If you got fundamentals, I would take them. MTCH. All right, here's Match Group. Looking it up in visual stocks. We don't see any growth at all. 4% year over year, so it's flatlined. It's been flatlined for years. It was a lot better before the great financial crisis than it is now, and it looks like the pandemic fucked them too. So these guys do not weather storms well. Who are they? They are internet content and information. What do they do? If you got any information, throw it out, dude. Let me know what you got, Silas. Is a prominent provider of dating products, offering a diverse range of brands. Is this where you're finding your hookups? Is that why you want me to look at it, Silas? So you're finding your hookups on here? Anyway. Okay, OkCube. Okay, whatever. It's matchmaking. Okay, now I got what we're doing. It is huge and institutional, a little bit of retail, not a lot of insider investment. It's got massive amounts of debt that it didn't have before the pandemic. It must be really interest rate dependent because of just the craziness that we're seeing. I don't like the weirdness in the operating expenses. They seem like as they scale, their expense base goes up a lot too. We could probably see some of that over here. Yeah, see, it's not like revenue increases a lot with their expenses. It's like it's greatly impacted by it, which I think kind of sucks. Stock-based comp as a percentage of revenue is going up. It's actually 8% right now. Are these guys cash flow positive? So they do make money. That's not horrible. 133 million in net income off of what on revenues? 864. That's actually a pretty good return. The PE, the forward, is only 16.58. The current PE is only 16. This is a really low number. The question is, can these guys grow? If they can't grow, then the PE is low for a reason. If they can grow, then that'll be a better thing. Massive sales in Q1 of 2020. So when this thing got really at the peak, insiders sold the fuck out of it, and they have not come back in a really strong way. They've bought more than they've sold in Q1 of 2023, and then Q1 of 2024. Estimates are showing revenue increasing again, probably still single-digit levels. I don't know, maybe this thing. Let's look at the technicals. Has it had a big drop where it might be something interesting? Let's figure that out. Let's take a look. So I don't think I've ever looked at this one again, so I'm going to go ahead and type this in, and I'm going to look it up. And it is MTCH. All right, so we're clicking on that. And, you're thinking of selling and buying FSLR. Is that for solar or Tesla? Oh, interesting. All right, let me get in here. MTCH. I'm going to reposition myself. Ooh, wow. Wow, interesting. So it has had a big drop, and it does appear to be finding a base. That's actually kind of fascinating. I didn't expect that. So could this be something that flies again? Maybe. We are curving up. We do have volumes underneath of us. And we are, again, these guys seem to be impacted greatly by financial drops. How much has it dropped? But I don't think we're going to have one of those for the next year plus. So does this end up being something that's a good value? It's still down 80%. It was down 84%. I don't hate that either, dude. Let's look at this. Let's draw our trend-based fib extension. I personally might not sell out of this right away. It seems like we're consolidating and looking for an upside blast. Oh, that's 2015. Let me go to the pandemic. Let me go over here. So we're going to start here. I really like using that's the wrong one. I really like using major events for my starting point on my trend-based extension if it's a downward event. And then we have the rates at the top. That was our major peak. And then we have the bottom that we experienced in October of 2023. That timeline is pretty good. All that stuff kind of sounds right. So we like that a lot. And let me just do this. Okay, so we're going to save this. And so, again, we're consolidating under the first fib. I could at least see this thing going to 47 or going to the .618 before we have any kind of really strong retrace on it. And again, I don't know how you're positioned and if it's options or what it is. But you can see the 200 moving average on the weekly is starting to curve down pretty steep. That might end up acting as resistance or get blown through. But yeah, 82% increase isn't bad. I don't know what options look like. Maybe it's an interesting option play. Match is complicated. IAC spun off Match and Vimeo some years ago. Okay. So let me see what you said here. They own all the dating sites. I've held it for 15 years and have 1,200% gains. Man, I feel like you could hold it a little bit longer and do all right. But I also don't hate at least the Tesla setup for sure. You know, I'm all about that. Chicken Bro says, if dating apps aren't growing, we're done as a society. Right. But yeah, so maybe if there's a decent option play, maybe you could reduce exposure and convert some of that to an option play that gives you enough time for it to play out. Like maybe a year, 2 years, probably 2 years, in my opinion. And you could get some decent upside while reducing your exposure and putting more towards Tesla or FSLR. Just my 2 cents, man. You do you. And Maytag, hello Jesse, here Bitcoin, Tesla, CleanSpark, I covered all those, you are welcome. Kaylee, I upvote what Maytag is asking for, I covered all those, you're welcome. Chicken Bro, hello Jesse, thank you. BT says, don't spend all your wealth on 45 ACP, 22 MAG is just as important for survival, not financial advice. Okay, thanks BT. Get ammo. All right. Needs 55. Yo, Jesse. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Again, thanks for all of what you do. This should be said every time I log on, but times where I forget, but you are appreciated immensely. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that, man. JJ the Savage. I wonder what Pelosi thinks about her higher tax rates and unrealized gains. I don't know. Good question. My buddy Chris Federal, an admin in the group, he says, can you make heads or tails of all these whale trades per Marty Party timeline? Congratulations, Uncle Jesse, just like the Dukes of Hazzard. Lol, dating myself. Yeah, you're dating me too, bro. Michael Myers, but thanks. I really appreciate it, Chris. Michael Myers looking for group Trump bans Jesse 2024. Sure. I have inhaled. That used to be a bad thing. I don't know if anybody cares anymore. Chris Federal, I like it. Yeah. Hey, if you guys could like to, for anybody who's still around, the 220 of you are left, I probably pissed off a bunch of people politically on this one. Oh, well. But if you guys could like to make up for that, it would be greatly appreciated. Akash 2000, congratulations, dude. Thanks, man. AB says, watching you're the third live stream of the day. Appreciate the value and consistency of this channel. Thank you for watching all three, dude. I really appreciate that. RJ Cohen, I'm trying to provide as much value as I can. I'm trying to help make people rich. RJ, or at least to the best of my ability. RJ Cohen, SoFi failing $7.50 for the third time. Any idea? Oh, dude, I think we're so taking off, bro. I wouldn't even sweat it. Art Knight, smash that like button for Jesse and the Beast Market Recap and Education. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Michael Myers, can you check Siri today? Did a nice day trade and made some dollars. Curious how much more room it has to run. I still subscribe to Sirius XM for sport. I don't know why anybody would do that. I love you, Michael Myers. You're really great in the horror movies. Yeah, I could take a look. Fuck it. Why not? 1 second here. Might get demonetized. I've been talking politics and I've been really passionate today. So again, anything you guys can do to help me out, I'll probably need it. I think I do have Siri. I feel like somebody's asked for that before. So let me see here. Yes, I do. Oh, it says Fubo on here. Weird. I need to update that. It should not be Fubo. Sirius XM. Again, XM, Sirius, all that crap all together. Dying industry. Elon will make sure that it dies. Not something I'm fond of. I mean, it was a penny stock, so I guess that's good. I actually think this is going to roll the fuck over and die. I would get the fuck out. It was 5 cents. I think we can go back to that. Let me just show you. So we'll look at financials before I get too cocky on my interpretation of this. I think this is a horrible looking chart. This thing could drop 99% from where it was in March of 2009. Now, it's came back and survived after after all of that. But this chart just, to me, just looks like a clusterfuck disaster. I'm going to do a fib retracement on this because I don't believe it's going to go higher. And again, I could be proven wrong. I can be proven wrong. This chart is so ugly. So the fib retracement technically has us bouncing off the .618. So could it go up from a technical level? Yes, it could. We got to look at the financials on this one, guys. All I think of when I think of this, I've got an incredible bias of a dying company. Are the financials telling us that? Negative 3% revenue growth year over year. It's only got a 10 and a single digit on the PE ratio, but that is not crazy when you have a highly indebted company that has $9 billion in debt and virtually no assets. They've been buying back stock for a while. It just, to me, it looks like a value trap because there's value here if you just look at PEs and forward PEs and other metrics. It looks like it should do really well. But when you actually just dial back here, you realize institutional ownership is on a massive decline from where it was years ago in 2013. Short interest is still at double-digit levels. It's probably the only thing that really keeps it alive is people are trying to short this, thinking they can time the death, and nobody gives a fuck about it. So it's been really hard to time the death. They did do a big buyback in Q4 2021. Should they have? I'm going to say no. Again, just revenue estimates are down, and EPS is trending down. Stock-based comp is 2%, which is way too much for a dying company. It does look like they've been able to get expenses under control and start to lower them. But man alive, I just don't see how this is a good investment at all. Warren Buffett is all over Sirius XM. Well, you know, he does stupid shit. So maybe this is stupid shit. I don't know. Understand. He's not a good technology person. He's just looking at it as generating revenue and being positive net income, which works for a while until you die. And don't get me wrong, $316 million in net income off of $2.17 billion. Again, if you're looking at the PE, this thing is not bad. It could end up potentially going higher. This could be the bottom. I just feel like there's so many other opportunities out there that I am more interested in than this. If there's a good option contract to the upside, that's what I would be looking at. I wouldn't give a shit about the actual stock. I would just take a little bit of a risk with an option play. If there's a good multiplier to the upside, like a 3, 4, maybe even higher X, then I'd be interested in that. Otherwise, I just don't see why you'd want to own this stock in a dying company, a dying industry that's going to be consumed by companies like Tesla. And when I say consumed by companies like Tesla, I just mean like Starlink and the ability of what it has to lower costs for all kinds of connectivity to other services that don't require Sirius XM, and then also Tesla building out cars that are not going to look at a backward service like this. PAGs. This is PagSeguro. This is Latin American shit. Is that a good description? Can you guys tell me more about PAGs outside of Latin American shit? Trump is leading Comula on Polymarket. Polymarket is just a reaction of what polls indicate. I don't think it's very predictive in a timely way. So this is interesting. This is a company. Wow, this is an interesting PAGs. I remember looking at this a while ago. It hasn't really launched yet. Let's look at the financials on it real quick. And just see if estimates are looking good going forward. It's Latin American play. They've been hurt a lot, but you have growth in Latin America. This is actually a beautiful looking chart until rates started to go up. Let me see. We don't have a lot of key charts here. I was hoping we'd have like breakdown by region and some of the other stuff that Alejandro has done for some of my other favorite Latin American companies. So this is Sao Paulo SP. What country is that? This is Latin America, right? Alexander Magnani. I'm trying to remember what SP is. Can you guys tell me what this is? Is this Spain? Where is Sao Paulo? Can you guys tell me where this is? I'm going to read the about info real quick. Leading provider in financial technology. Oh, in Brazil. Brazil's kind of a clusterfuck because they've got a dictatorship running it. But again, if that gets better in the future because people like Elon Musk and X potentially causing a disruption in the government in the not too distant future before they get too much of a gain of control over the region, then this could be interesting. It is individual entrepreneurs, micro merchants, small and medium-sized companies. The company aims to disrupt the traditional financial services space by offering innovative and accessible financial tools. So 88 million in net income last quarter. Let's just look up here. Forward PE is 2. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Sorry. What? With that kind of estimate in front of it? And that's probably why the forward PE is 2. What? How is this such a good setup? Shut up. Who brought this up? AB. Pags focuses on digital. Yeah, okay. New rates in Brazil are lowering. It should outperform. God, I'm starting to think you're right, bro. Albert, thank you for answering too. Damn, guys. Why isn't this higher? It's already a low multiple revenue and net income looking good. Chart also seems to be breaking out of the weekly. God, dude. Fuck. Where's my pen? I need it. 1 second. I'm making a note. Sorry, guys. I haven't done this in a while, but I need a note. I'm going to do a deeper dive into PAGs. I need to understand this company from multiple levels. Cash on hand and bonds are going up a lot. They've got 802 million in bonds, probably collecting 4+% interest. Maybe they're shorter term. They might be shorter term so that they reduce their risk with duration. Their debt has increased a lot. I don't know why their debt has increased a lot. Can any of you answer that question? If I look down here, we see a massive debt raise. What is that for? R&D budget. I don't see anything really in R&D. Why are we getting so much of the debt? I do like cash. I like the cash flow. The free cash flow in the last several quarters has been really great. And again, estimates going forward are huge. Is there something wrong with this company that is not clearly visible? Because I need to do a deep dive on this. This is very interesting. Jesse, are you generally fully invested or do you have cash account for expenses and emergencies? I mean, I can pull off of debt, right? I do some shifting back and forth with debt loads between me and my wife to where one of us always has perfect credit and the other one it has 0% offers that I try and get out for 18 months where I do a 3 to 4% fee. So I'm averaging maybe less than 3% a year in APR on my debt that I'm holding. And I've got a year and a half where I don't have to worry about it. And I just shift the debt back and forth. Now, if the credit markets freeze, then I would just have to pay off the debt. But it's such a small amount. It allows me to be able to kind of manage my expenses and then cash out investments whenever I really feel like I want to. PAGS is exciting, guys. I've got to do research here. If you guys know more about this company, I need to know. Oh, it's actually 14. Yeah, it's 14.4 right now. You're right. According to Google Finance, it says 14.58 here. The forward, though, is 2. 2, motherfucker. That is, I mean, obviously I'm motherfucker to use this, but you know what I mean? Like, wow. 88 million in net income for one quarter off of 432 million in revenue. This is shocking to me. There's got to be something bad about this company that I can't see. I've got to do a deep dive. This is now at the top of my list of companies to review. Yeah, I'll probably be doing a members video. I need to see if you guys know of anybody who does research on this. I'm going to start searching YouTube. I'm going to see if I can find, I'm going to try and find negative shit about PAGs. Or the Brazilian market to determine why this is just so cheap, because the technicals on this do not look bad. Let's do our trend-based extension. I'm probably going to stop on this one, guys. This is such a great stock, or maybe I'll go a little bit longer. We'll see. Let me see. I'm kind of tired after making 3 videos today, but we'll see. Yeah, dude, we're at the .5. I feel like our next move is getting to 17. I might have to see. I don't want to sell Tesla options, but I don't know. I might see. Maybe I'll. Yeah, I don't know. I've got to see. I got to do research on this company because this is fascinating to me, and the upside potential, if I look at the weekly time frame, could be something special. A run to 22 does not seem insane. What does that give us for upside? I'm just curious if the options are really priced high, and that's not something I'm going to go through in Discovery right now. I'm going to do that later. And I know I said I tried to get through all of these, but I might not, guys. I might have to just bail for a little bit and take a break. So I'm sorry if I missed you guys. If I did miss you, come in earlier in the stream after I get this thing live. I post it during the day and I post it on X. If you come in earlier to it when you see a notification and put your note in there, then I will try and get to your stock quicker. I think we fixed some of that weird refresh issue that was happening. But again, I appreciate everybody that's here. I got to use the bathroom and I got to get a break. My mind is just frozen today and very broken. But I'm going to do some more research on PAGs. That's probably going to be a key one that I'm taking a look at in the near future. And I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream here right about now. So thank you guys very much for all your time. I will try and get to some of these others later. And I'm going to go ahead and throw up, let's see here. I'm going to do, Bitcoin, no Bitcoin going to zero. I'm going to go to all-time high because I feel like we're cruising, guys, and I feel like we're going to see more of this ahead. So that's what we're going to close out on. Love you guys. Thank you very much. It's a bug with the forward PE at 2. It's 11. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Thanks, Kite. I appreciate you validating that information. That's still a beautiful number, though. So I'm going to do more research. If you guys do any research too, bring it to the next market recap. Or again, if I make a video that's members only on PAGs, let's chat it out. Bring everything you know. The more we educate each other, I'll try and do everything I can. But they had earnings today. Well, they're down in aftermarket. So I'll definitely have to take a look at what earnings are because they're down 4%. So maybe that will shed some light as to why they're so undervalued right now. But I am very curious to figure out if that's a short-term thing or not. But I'll try and do a video on it and add it to all the other videos that I'm going to be doing because I'm going to be doing a Lynn Alden video tomorrow. And I'm also going to be doing a video, not just with Lynn Alden, but the one with Balaji and Vivek. And then maybe tomorrow or the next day, I can get something for a members only if I see a good deal here, or at least kind of my thoughts on it. If I don't think it's a good deal, it's probably not going to be members only. It's just going to be me talking about it in the recap and telling you why I think it sucks. But if I do find something like a golden nugget there, I'll tell you guys about it. Anyway. All-time high. Love you guys. PAG's numbers are all over the place. All right, cool. We'll take a look and see if that's one of the reasons why they have such a problem. Because, again, people kind of expect expectations. They want to see consistency. That might be the problem right there that Silas is pointing out. But thank you guys very much for your time today. And for everybody, if you made it through 3 videos, that's awesome. I do feel like the other 2 videos I made today about the bear market and a lot of statistics that you're not going to see anywhere on X is great. And, again, that was with huge help from Rex. Finance, laying down the foundation and me just adding a little frosting to it. And again, the other one with Jack Mallers, if you don't understand Bitcoin well or don't have high conviction, that is a must watch in my opinion. So anyway, you guys take it easy. Love you all very much as usual. Time to exit and I will talk to you guys later. Expect 3 videos tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace out. Bye.
Well, you know what time it is. Whew. We back, baby. Bitcoins, shitcoins, or NFTs. There's no greater feeling than hitting that sweet. Old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky. We just buy and get rich. Old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump, baby. We just buy and get rich. Run it back. We back in the black. We back in the green. Got the team all around me. We rowdy and causing scenes. Where you been? Grab a cup, baby. Come and take a sip. Oh my bad, yo, what's up? Man, you didn't buy the dip. Oh, that's rough. Oh, that's tough. Oh, that's really gotta suck. Only problem that we got is that we didn't buy enough. Man, I joke. Man, I kid. Know exactly what we did. Now we pull up in the whip. Cause we just hit. Old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky. We just buy and get rich. Old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump, baby. We just buy and get rich. Got my family on the phone, they asking what they should buy. I say a time machine to take you back to when I was trying to get you buying on the low. Instead you trying to buy high. I guess it's time for me to sell this shit and wave it goodbye. Like sayonara, I don't wanna be stuck there with the bag. Don't be mad, I'm just saying I'm taking some of the cash that we stacked up, baby, cause we out of here. As we blast up straight into the stratosphere. Right through the old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky. We just buy and get rich. Old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump, baby. We just buy and get rich. Old time high in this bitch. Watch it pump to the sky. We just buy and get rich. Old time high.